morning, my name is John Damon and I'm the head trainer of Broome Sailing Club here in Broome, and we're on lovely Ganthian Beach where we conduct our sail training. We conduct levels 1 and 2 basic schools, which runs over a 4-day program. We run from 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock approximately every second Sunday, because we run them on the neap tides. Today what we're going to cover is the basics of what sailing's about, the gear and the parts, and how to rig a boat. The course in total covers how to handle emergencies, how to right a boat when the boat capsizes, how to tow, how to do man overboard. It teaches you the rules of the road, it teaches you all the angles of sailing. It brings you up to a level where you're confident and competent to be able to sail a boat either by yourself or with a crew. The boats that we use are an English design. They're called a pacer. They're a mono hull, in that they have one hull. They have 2 sails, and what we're going to do today is we're going to run through the basic parts of the boat and how to rig the boat. All this information is in the textbook that you're given, which I'd encourage you to read. And I apologise now for all the terminology that sailing has in it, because it is like a different language. So I don't expect you to remember what I'm going to run through now in its entirety, so read the book. That will reinforce what I'm telling you today. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so the first thing we consider as a sailor is we look at our environment. We look at our weather. Here at Ganthian Beach we have several influences which dictate how we're going to sail, where we're going to sail. Firstly, out here we have Ganthian Point. We have a reef that runs parallel to the shore out to a channel marker. Obviously on the low tides that reef will break out of the water, and we need to be aware of that and stay well clear of it. There's also a rock knoll sitting out off the shore down a little bit further, which will make you aware of when we're out on the water. The other factors that affect us here in Broome, of course, are our tides. With 8 to 9.5 metre tides, tidal effect, particularly on days like today in lighter weather, has quite an impact. Our tides, when they're running in, will run from north to south. When they're running out, they'll run from south to north along the beach. Right, so we need to be aware when we're sailing that the tide is going to carry us one way or the other. The other effect we have is our sand dunes here. The sand dunes are quite high, and if we have an offshore breeze, like an easterly, then the sand dunes will be protected for the first few hundred metres, and there'll be a much stronger breeze out further on the water. You need to be aware of those sorts of factors. As sailors, we're also wearing our hats. We're wearing shirts, protective gear from the sun. So sun cream, slip, slop, slap. Take plenty of water out on the boats. It's advisable, if your hat's valuable, tie it on. This is my life jacket here, and I always tie my hat on. Now, our life jackets, as sailors, we use PFD2, right, which is fully designed to hold various weights up. This is the one designed to hold my weight up. This is a PFD3, which you'll see our safety boat drivers and crew will be wearing. It's a self-inflatable one. Not to be used for sailing, we need either a PFD2 or the old Made West style with the collar around the neck, called a PFD1. Less popular nowadays because they do inhibit your movement around the boat and can catch on things.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our training boats. We have 6 of them. As I mentioned, they're a pacer. So I'm going to run through now just some of the parts of the boat without going into too much detail. The full detail and what I'm going to do now is in your textbook. So, with boats we don't have fronts, backs, lefts, rights. Once again, I apologise for the terminology. We have the front of the boat is the bow. The back of the boat we call the stern. And our left side of the boat is called port, and our right side is starboard. We have our mast, and we have our boom. Our sails, which I'll unroll in a minute, we have 2 sails. We have a small sail that goes on the front, which is called a jib, the large sail on the back, which is called the main. So we'll now proceed and I'll demonstrate how to rig the boat. Alright, so to rig the boat, the first thing we do is we put the boat head to wind. So we're putting the bow of the boat pointing into our breeze. Our breeze here is southwesterly, so we've positioned the boat on the trolley, all the gear on the boat. Whilst we're here on the sand is our enemy. Sand getting into boat fittings, blocks and all the little things that work on a yacht will actually stop them from working. So we try and keep everything out of the sand. As you notice, the boat's on a trolley, it is launched on the trolley, it's retrieved on the trolley. The mast, boom, sails, we keep out of the sand. When we finish with them, we wash them down, so we look after them. So, a bit of housekeeping. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to step the mast. So, the bottom of the mast here, the mast step, is going to go into a plug on the bottom of the boat here. So, we're going to lift the mast up. Now, Caroline's got a crook wrists, so we're going to make her do this. Luckily, these are very light. They will stand up by themselves. Once we top the mast step, there you go. Yep, that's in. And because the boat's leaning forward, it'll sit there. Now, these wires hanging here are called stays. We have one to the bow of the boat called the forestay. The forestay simply hooks on to there. Very simple. We then have two side stays. Caroline's got one. We're just making sure they're untangled from the ropes. I'll explain later. These go onto here. So I'll bring the mast back, allowing Caroline to continue. These pins they're a captive pin, so they can't come loose, or they can't be lost, let's say. So they're a simple matter of putting the pin through and giving it a turn. Now, these things here are our halyards. So that's what we're going to actually pull the sails up with. Right, so we have our mast, our forestay and our side stay. Our sails will unroll. Now throughout the course you're going to learn some knots. We're going to just do one basic one today, because it is only an introduction. The main knots that we use a lot are figure of 8 and certainly the bow line, one of the basic ones that you will learn. So we're going to look up, we're going to identify the halyard that only goes up halfway up the mast. The one that goes halfway up the mast is the jib halyard. So we're going to use what's called a snap shackle, and we're going to connect the snap shackle, which has piston release. That piston release there, we're going to connect that. In sailing, there are various kinds of shackles. We have a snap shackle, we have a screw-in D shackle, to name two. We're now going to hoist the jib, which is here. This is the jib halyard. We're going to put a figure 8 knot, or thumb knot, actually, in the end of that. Caroline, let's just pull that up for me. Running on the block. Yep. Down a bit. Connecting that forestay there. Okay, now tensioning the jib, we're going to pop the halyard through there, and we're going to tension the front edge of the jib, which is called the luff. So we're going to tighten the luff down, and giving into one of our first kinds of cleats. This is called a horn cleat. Once again, you'll come across a couple of different kinds of cleats. This one, you zigzag around like that, and twist and lock down. twist and lock down. Then we just coil up the excess so it's not floating around, but so that it can be released in emergency if need be, and tuck it down behind. The jib is controlled by the jib sheets. So go on, if you like to take, one goes around that side to the port side, this one, and they come inside the shrouds, they'll come inside our stays, they come through what's called a fair lead, and into our second kind of cleat. So we have our horn cleats, we now have a cam cleat, which operates little teeth which rotate on cams. We put that through there and we do our first knot, which is a figure of 8. So twist, twist, and we form a figure 8. As you can see, we're into the wind, so our sails just flap. We're just going to pull that in to stop it flapping too much. We've got a frayed rope there. It doesn't make a difference. We normally burn the ends of our rope. Stop that happening.